jump right into my first question. We'll get started. So, with the release of your fifth album, Jeff or 20, celebrating the 20th anniversary of your debut album, how has your artistry grown since you started, and how is that reflected in your latest project?
I think, first of all, thank you for having me. I think that every album, and this is album number 5 in 20 years, since Bone Deep in 2003. I think every album represents a maturation, but also it represents a musical and production maturation for me as an artist. But I think you can see if you listen from Bone Deep to Bon Appetit, to Jeff Bradshaw for his live, to all the records, to Stronger, to now Jeff Bradshaw 20. Um, I think that as I grew as a man, husband, father at that time, um, as a trombone player, as a touring artist, as a writer, as a producer, um, every album has matured. But I've also gotten smarter and wiser as a producer. Um, not not really listen to. It's funny. I don't really listen to a lot of music uh, um, of my peers.
Hmm.
I don't listen to a lot of current music of my peers during my creative process. Let me say that during my creative process, when I'm going into making an album, I really don't listen to music at all. Uh, I think it's really important to keep your mind clear. You know, to keep your mind clear, to um, stay in your zone and also stay in your space and your creative space. I think that's really important because I know that being a soul jazz trombonist in my lane is kind of like me in my lane. It's like it's like I feel like I'm in the HOV lane, and all the other traffic is like over here, over here, over here. And all the other uh, artists, all the other soul jazz artists, all the I guess smooth jazz artists, or a jazz artist. Everybody's over here, and I'm kind of like in the HOV lane uh, with my trombone, kind of like doing my own thing, going at my own pace. That's why in 20 years, there's 5 albums and not 15. Because, like Jill Scott said, I'll take this from my big sister Jill, you know, I'm a stove, not a microwave.
Mm. That does sound like something she might say. That's
Oh,
insightful on a snap.
that's definitely, I definitely borrowed that from my big sister.
And I think that's a great point because I write and I've heard some writers too say they try not to watch TV or read books and things because that can kind of get in the way or change, what your
Yeah.
unique lane is, like you said.
Yeah, yeah,
Very insightful.
you get, not sidetracked, but you get influenced by other things that you're hearing, and you have to focus on your own sound, your own voice, and especially with this album being so diverse, because your 20th anniversary album, you got to come with the sledgehammer,
Yeah.
and I feel like I don't really talk about my music a lot. Um, Outside of me being proud of it, me being happy about it. It's the best stat. It's the best. This is my best work, without a doubt. This is my best work. And
Mm.
the 20th anniversary album has to be like, wow, this guy is still growing and still evolving as not just as a trombone player, but as a producer. You know,
Mhm.
so that's where I am.
Great. Well, the second single off the album, Make Some Time, that one definitely really spoke to me. Like so many people, I have a very busy schedule and don't make the time for important things like I should. Can you speak to the essence of the song and kind of what inspired you to create the project?
Uh, uh, Make Some Time. What a great record. One of my best singles out of all my albums is, I believe it's definitely uh, uh, top 3 or 4. And there's been some big ones. There's been some big ones. Speaking, saying a lot, but produced by Isaac Phillips, um,
Mhm.
and written by my good friend, Mr. Eric Roberson, who is a wordsmith, we all know. And Eric basically explained to me that this song is about uh, busy people who really need, for a relationship to be successful, you have to make some time for you. You know, you have to make some time for your partner, and then both people have to make some time for us. You know, and it's a simple message, but I think in our business and people with busy schedules and relationships, and it definitely fits in my life uh, with relationships. Failed relationships because of, you know, when you're running for the crown, man, you know, you lose a lot. You know, people don't understand the
Yeah.
sacrifice that we make trying to be the best. You know, those of us who try to be the best of what we do, you know, trying to work when everybody else is sleeping, trying to be as creative as we can, you know, to rise above the fray. That there's a sacrifice that comes with that. And a lot of that sacrifice is time. But
Mhm.
like the song says, even though we are busy, even though we are running for the crown and all of these things, you know, you still have to make time for you, your partner, and your relationship and love if you want a successful relationship. And that's what the song is about.
Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. That what I have to say, and I don't usually say this, but in researching for this interview, I have listened to that song about 10 times because it's really it's catchy. Even from the beginning, the first couple hits on the beginning to the lyrics. Yeah, I really enjoy that one personally.
Yeah, Isaac Phillips did a great job. One of my good friends from Jersey, Philly area,
Mm.
lives been in LA 20 years, but it was great to work with him again after not working with him for 20 years. It was our first time working together again, as we did Guess You Never Know from my first album on Bone Deep. So he really gave us a great record. It's simple, it grooves nice, it's smooth. And Eric, you know, he was the right person to collab with.
Yeah. Yeah, wow, it's very full circle. Well, as a trombone player, unfamiliar audiences, I think, and parts of maybe this new generation may assume you only make, traditional instrumental jazz. But when I listened to your album, there were some like amazing guest vocalists and a track list that touched on a lot of different genres in a creative way, I'd say. So how did you create such a unique sound and a space for yourself that has honestly like a wide appeal?
You know, it's thank you. You know,
Mhm.
I've always tried to just be true to who I am. And what I am is what we all are. Those of us who work in this business, um, we're all fans of music. Isn't that why we do this? Because we're
Exactly.
just, we were touched and inspired by somebody along the way, be it Donny Hathaway or Marvin Gaye or people that are younger than me, maybe Usher or maybe Jill or Erica or Mos Def or The Roots or somebody in the timeline of your life. Um, I do this because I'm a fan of music. I love music, and every album I try to be more diverse because I was raised on soul music and gospel and R&B and hip hop. Um, I've worked with so many different kinds of artists, you know, from the Roots to Jill to Kurt Franklin to Dave Chappelle to Tyler Perry to Elvis Costello. You know, I mean, it's a very diverse amount of people.
Yeah.
But uh, my audience and this world is a bed of flowers. And I feel like you can't just paint the world with music with one broad stroke. Um, and especially being my 20th anniversary album, it really was important to me that the album was diverse, that there was music that I loved, and that there was Afro beats on this record, that there was
Mhm.
um, a feeling of Latin salsa music with hip hop undertones on Ay 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 with Raheem Devon and Chill Moody. Um, that there was hip hop, that there was spoken word on the album, which is where I came from in Philly, in the Philly music scene with Jill Scott. And there was, you know, well, I mean, that poetry scene in Philly, man, coming up through this poetry scene with Jill and Ursula Rucker and Wadu the Mod. I mean, it was really important for this album to be a culmination of all the music that inspires me, but all the music that I love and all the music that people love. And that's why I put this album together this way. And I was blessed to be able to find the right producers, Keith Phelps and Daniel Crawford. And I mean, there's so many great people, Junius Burvine, and so many great producers on this album that I was able to work with to get us to this point.
That's great. I mean, the work has definitely paid off. Definitely paid off.
Thank you.
And moving on to another single, the other lead single from the album. There's such a warmth and a sense of home on that first single, Carrie's Bread Pudding. And could you
Yeah.
speak to the inspiration behind that and what made you, kind of make that the lead song on the album?
Carrie's Bread Pudding was written about an amazing woman named Carrie Bradshaw. My mother, born and raised in Aiken, South Carolina, picked cotton from the age of 9 to 14. A church mother, if you will, um, who makes probably one of the most selfless and amazing people walking this earth. Definitely my shero, and makes the best bread pudding on this side of heaven.
Ooh-wee.
That's what Carrie's Bread Pudding about. My 83-year-old amazing mother who raised 3 children and with my father there my whole life until he passed away in 2011. Just an amazing woman, a God-fearing woman who supports me, even though I was raised in church. She supports me, my musical journey. She supported my musical journey with her prayers and her advice. And still every Sunday makes her famous bread pudding and sells it at her church every Sunday. Even after being retired at the executive level at her job, she still makes that bread pudding every Saturday and sells it at her church every Sunday. That's what Carrie's Bread Pudding about. My amazing mother and her amazing bread pudding, and just giving her flowers, dedicating an amazing song to her that has that church Southern D'Angelo thing on
it. It's beautiful. It's without even an explanation behind the song. You could just let anybody hear that song cold, and I think that they would really pick up on those feelings. Like it's just right there in the music. It's right there.
Absolutely,
Uh,
absolutely.
and then again, I'm not going to keep you. I just have one more question for you.
Sure.
Kind of now that we've hit on your legacy and then the diversity of your music and how you're still evolving. Well, as a trombonist who has carved like such a unique path in the industry and created such a legacy, what would you share with this new generation, these new trombonists or instrumentalists, and how they could be successful?
Well, I think first is find your voice. I'm self-taught. I'm a self-taught trombonist. There's no music school or college. Yeah, I'm self-taught.
Really?
Like
Really?
there's no music school or college that can take credit for this gift that God gave me. My father, the late Norman Bradshaw, taught me how to play trombone. He taught me to play the lyrics and the words to old gospel songs. That's how I learned how to play trombone. My father taught
Wow.
me. He was a trombonist. He played trombone, trumpet, tuba, sousaphone. So I came up through the ranks in church and then in the club. Excuse me, in the clubs with my friends. I had a voice. I found my voice because the way that I learned to play the instrument was as a singer. If you listen to me play live or on my records, however I approach the songs, I play like a singer. It's an extension of my voice. So I think that every musician, and especially trombone players, my family, to find your voice, practice as much as you can, be prepared for your moment, but find your voice. And outside of playing, Quincy Jones gave me this advice in 2000 when he first met Jill Scott. I asked him, um, in the dressing room after the show, which we were all surprised he was there. Um, what he could tell me, or what he could give me, what kind of advice did he give me uh, to help me have a sustainable career and at a high level, which is what I wanted. And I explained to him, and and he said, "You are who you can call. You are
Uh,
who you can call. Relationships are everything in this business, and it is the music business." And then not only am a self-taught trombone player who's done remarkable things because of the blessings of God and hard work, but also I know how to network. I know how to nurture great relationships. And there are people I can get on the phone today that most people would never be able to get on the phone because I know how to nurture and respect every great relationship that I have, from the smallest to the biggest. So
mm,
with practice and hard work and finding your voice, finding an artist or a trombone player that speaks to you. Mine was my father and Fred Wesley from the JBs.
okay.
That was my those are my trombone idols. My father and Fred Wesley. It's something about my father's playing, something about hearing him play. His eyes is on the sparrow and Amazing Grace, and the garden. I come to the garden alone. Like there was something about that I didn't hear
Yeah.
when I heard jazz musicians play. And there's so many greats: J.G. Johnson, Slide Hampton, Curtis Fuller. I mean, Vincent Gardner, my friends, Vincent Gardner, Wycliffe Gordon. Uh, uh, I mean, I have so many great friends that play now that are great legends in their own right now. Um, of course, Trombone Shorty, my good friend. But something about hearing my father play uh, and wanting to learn what that was. How do you do that? And he taught me how to play that. So when I play and you hear me play songs like, and I know it might seem strange, I don't wanna press you.
Mm,
I'm singing through my horn, and God gave me that, and my father helped me to find it. That's what Jeff Bradshaw does.
wow. That's a legacy. That's a legacy right there.
To God be the glory.
That's fantastic. Well, again, I don't want to take up too much of your time. Thank you again, Mr. Bradshaw, for speaking with Joe Magazine. I can say personally, you've got a new fan today.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Help me tell my story. There are a lot of trombone players out there that are discouraged because they think that in contemporary music that saxophones rule. And I have a lot of great
Mhm.
friends and heroes that are sax players. Gerald Albright, Kurt Whalen. I mean, there are many. Obviously, the ambassador from Philadelphia, the late great Grover Washington Jr. There are so many great uh, sax players that I love and that are my heroes. But it's time to make more room for the trombone. You know,
Mm.
there's a new sheriff.
Okay, say that.
There's a new sheriff.
Ooh, okay. That's a word right there. Leave them with the word. Well, thank you again. Thank you again. And thank you for taking the time. You have a good one, okay?
Thank you for having me.
Anytime. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. All right. God bless.